I can imagine.
Okay, let's go live.
All right, so
Yes.
you wanted to talk about this.
Welcome to Fast Food Thursday, where the very first
Yeah.
thing you see on screen is a swastika. Don't worry, this is a
But it's
joke at the
chicken
ex.
related.
Don't worry,
But
it's
it's a
not a.
chicken
It's not a.
related.
Don't worry, it's not a praising of Nazi Germany. It's shitting on Israel.
Yeah. Also, hey,
Something,
Priest.
something,
Hey,
something we're wont to do.
Yeah.
yeah, we do
So
on
the
the
thing
regular.
about the
Hey,
thing
Jesse.
about YouTube has limited this live stream because it seems to be popular. I saw that. This is a thing that YouTube does now with channels under 1,000 subscribers, specifically with uh, live streams that come from mobile phones. So not any live stream, just live streams from mobile phones.
Yes.
When they like are very like when they get suddenly a lot of views. And the rationale behind doing this thing that literally zero people asked for is because of the trucker protests. Because they,
That's what I thought. That's what I was
Oh, for
suspecting.
fuck's sake.
because they post videos, and then this is something that they use to communicate. As opposed to just texting each other. And so, but this is a thing that they've wanted to get rid of for a long time because this is the way that, like, live streams of people getting murdered by cops and stuff like that also breaks. Very
Yeah.
like important situations of citizen journalism. They have been asked for a long, long time. Big media outlets have pressured them to put a bar in front of that. This is something that they've been, especially when it comes to Twitter has instituted a ban on raw footage, which is, for instance, how the murder of George Floyd broke
Yeah. So basically, yeah.
publicly, and they have now instituted rules that ensure that that doesn't happen. But
And there's no
they waited for like a right wing thing to happen, like the trucker protests right now.
before. Yeah.
It's the
Yeah, this
same
is like what
thing.
I
It's the same
yeah.
thing that is happening in Canada, where they're now going, "Oh, we need all these laws now to make sure that we can do something against
Yeah.
this." They already
Yeah.
can. They already have those laws in place. They already can do all of those
Can I
things. But they,
can I
they
just
cannot.
ask?
Let me finish speaking, please.
Sorry.
But they cannot. They have the leftist elements in power, or like the elements that the neoliberal aspects of liberalism that actually are like pro
Neoliberals.
freedom and shit. Those need to be placated with this sort of song and dance about, oh, we're going to like, you need to silence those watchdogs and the left wing watchdogs by saying, oh, this is a right wing thing, we're doing this to fight against the right. And then they're not going to use those laws to fight against the trucker protest, of course. But what they are going to do is next time some Native American group is trying to protest like a fucking boiling
Pipeline?
radioactive oil pipeline going through every single one of their maternity wards, they're going to like kill them in the
Fucking
protesters because
Yeah.
they will
maternity
have the
wards?
legal because
Yeah,
they'll
this
be
is
legally allowed to do that. That is the entire point of doing any of this.
Yeah,
Just,
it's like
that way
it
once
will
people
is.
order- We're talking about
Just as my
executive-
mood was somewhat improving. Fucking
Are we
heck.
talking about that executive order thing Trudeau's doing against those truckers?
No. We're talking
No.
about what YouTube's doing to small streamers.
But that
if they,
too.
If they're,
Yeah.
no, the
It's like-
Emergencies Act is fucking. It's like if they set a precedent where they use it on the trucker protests, then it means they could just do it to any kind of like protest or strike where it's like, like let's say like Ford, like there's a strike at Ford's Ontario plant, they could just be like, oh, Emergencies Act, all you like your strike fund
Yeah,
is now
just wait
frozen.
until the
Yeah,
right
that's the
wingers
point
get
of
to
doing
it.
it. This is exactly like when they banned Alex Jones. The whole reason they did it is so they could establish they set the precedent that people can be banned for shit. And then the most of the people who disappeared after Alex Jones got unpersoned were people who were part of the Occupy Wall Street movement. Because that's what
Yeah.
happens. That's how they do it.
They check
Yeah.
someone who's actually an idiot, and then they banned it. They banned an actual idiot, so then they get. Wait a minute. What was Spotify's reasonings for banning people who were talking about occupying the street?
I don't understand what you just said. because
you just said like you just said with the banning of Alex Jones came like the banning of people who are pro Occupy Wall Street.
You're having connection problems. You're really coming through
Yeah,
very
we can.
poorly. I don't understand half
We're
of what
having a
you're
hard
saying.
time listening.
Yeah, how about now?
Yeah, I don't.
He must be on his. He must be on his phone or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he's not. He's not. Just put the mic closer to your mouth and kill us all with ear rape.
He sounds like me half the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Very glad to see, Kashi, that you're not trying to give me the spins anymore.
I was waiting. I was waiting for it to be able to move hard space shipbreaker.
I would just like to say, as a truck driver, I do not support the trucker convoy, but what they're doing with the Emergencies Act is fucking bullshit.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're gonna like. If you protest against that, actually, I don't think that's very cool. It's like, oh, what are you, like a Nazi type? Stop doing that, dude.
Yeah, it's like I support the right to protest. I think that all of the people involved are fucking stupid, but they have a right to do it.
Like every time this kind of thing has been done by like non-right-wing groups, the response has been just brutality by law enforcement.
Oh yeah. That's like with the protests out in Alberta.
Yeah.
For that pipeline going through the Native Canadian, Native. I don't know, they're First Nation or not, but yeah, they're going through Indigenous lands.
Yeah.
Goddamn liberals.
And the same thing happening in my state and in North Dakota with a couple years ago with Standing Rock.
Yeah, exactly.
With the pipeline. Yeah. It was like, it was the fucking North Dakota Highway Patrol coming in with full TAC gear, and it's like, where the fuck did you get? You're North Dakota. Where the fuck did you get that?
That was in the war, dude. It was in the war. All the wars that North Dakota fought.
Yeah.
Everyone knows North Dakota.
The military equipment they need to defend themselves against the expansionist Mongol power of South Dakota.
Everyone knows.
If you want to, I mean, to shift gears a little bit, you want to talk about fucking hypocrisy over that goddamn pipeline. It's you got all these people down here in Sioux Falls and down here in southern South Dakota going like these goddamn Indians, don't they these fucking terrorists and protesters and shit. And then, because I think I talked about this before on the stream, where it's like the pipeline is going to come down in the South Dakota and run diagonally to Sioux Falls and go right. It's going to make it's going to go right around the city limits of Sioux Falls. And now they're going, not in my backyard.
It's so just the complete. How do NIMBYs not understand that they're NIMBYs? You know what I'm saying?
NIMBYs.
Yeah.
Like you could. It's.
What are NIMBYs?
They're not in my backyard.
Not in my backyard. Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, we need it. Well, we want a pipeline like this. Pipeline is good, and it's cool when it's in like the Indian reservation. Fucking.
But it's not cool when it's
assholes that they would protest this. But then when it's like near their place, it's like, oh, how dare you do this? I am not a red-skinned person. I have rights in this country. It's like, what the fuck?
And then they turned around, and then the same people turned around again when Joe Biden put a freeze on construction on it, and they're like, there you go, Sleepy Joe Biden taking jobs away. It's just like, do you hear yourself think? Like, how do you think?
To be honest,
the problem is, I think that most of this shit is just like conservative business interests astroturfing those opinions through like talk radio shows and Fox News and shit like that. Is that, like, let's be honest, that's where most people get most of their opinions from. Is pundits.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that if you have more money, you can afford more pundits.
I thoroughly love the American condition. It is a great thing to laugh at from afar.
Yeah, that's not something that happens in any place in Europe at all. This is never like. That's not a thing.
I do like how
That's the pipeline.
how something really fucked up is happening in North America, and it's not in Mexico or the United States.
Mexico's already fucked, dude.
Yeah,
well, it's like finally the U.S. can get a break from being a laughing stock for like a month.
Finally, we can laugh at Canada.
Finally, Canadians cringe.
Now you know how Canadians feel most of the time.
Like, god damn it!
I just gotta say, for the past couple years, like Canada's like reputation as this lovely, nice little country has just been completely ruined.
Oh yeah, because they like all the things that they've
and
been
it's
doing
all their
for
fault.
a long time.
It's all their fault that this happens.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I think at the end of this term, can Justin Trudeau run again? Because it's.
I think
I don't know. I don't know what.
Do they have a limit? If they don't, if he's getting like kicked out either way, he should definitely recreate those like college party picks.
Prime Minister.
Just to like say goodbye.
You mean his Banu Hakim Methuselah cosplay?
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh my god, it's genius.
A prime minister stays in office until they resign, die, or are dismissed by the governor general.
What?
Wait, what?
They don't have to get re-elected?
Oh, I think
Inshallah.
Inshallah, Habibi.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Yeah, the world's fucked at this point. We're all fucking doomed. I'm sorry. I'm being like
you're telling me Trudeau can't leave office unless he either resigns, dies, or.
Yeah, that's what it's on the Wikipedia article for
What the fuck, Canada? I thought you were okay.
List of prime ministers by time in office.
When people tell me like, "Oh, Canada's so nice," do you forget how brutal they were during wars? You forget.
Oh yeah, they like fucking were they like in World War II the biggest war criminal among the Allies?
Oh yeah, no, they were. Yeah,
It's like you people forget how dangerous Canadians are. Don't fucking tempt them.
Canadian people are super fucking nice. Like I have relatives in Canada, and I know a bunch of Canadians, but like, god damn, the country of Canada has done some fucked up shit.
To be fair, Canada is a brutal place. Apart from really down south and on the coastline down south, where the fuck are you going to live? Unless you are an Inuit or some kind of descendant from
the same situation in Australia, really.
Yeah, exactly. Canadians are the Australians of the Americas. How could you not see the comparison?
The thing is, it's not like that they're living there just under difficult conditions. It's just that nobody fucking lives there. So it's just abandoned.
No, people do live there.
His
like 5 people.
Justin Trudeau's father was a prime minister for 15 years.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Eliminate like the entire population of Central Australia with like a single drone strike.
Well, the majority of Australia's population.
What do you mean? Hang on, no, you couldn't because they live so far apart from each other.
No, the majority of Australia's population is in 5 cities.
No, but like the interior, you said in the interior
middle Australia.
Oh no, those guys will just turn into Mad Max.
You didn't say that though.
I didn't say that.
Winter said this, or did you not?
Yeah.
Did I just
make
Winter
definitely said that.
It was me. I did say that. Yeah.
What do you mean by this?
It was me.
Just take a nuke. Take a nuke.
There's few enough people in the Central Australia that if they were all together in like a cosplay convention where they all pretend to be like dangerous Australian animals, and you drone strike that convention, you would only need 1 bomb.
That is true. But we have bombs where you could
correct.
put the whole population of the world in the same place, and you put that bomb.
You are
and then
technically
also
correct.
dead.
The best kind of correct.
What I don't get about Australia is that it's so fucking big and has such a low population, yet they still feel the need to have immigrant processing stations on like Pacific Islands. It's like just put them in the desert, put them in the outback.
But then they come into the city.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want them
the whole
to
point of having an
city.
island is that you can't. They have like sharks and shit. That's basically
but they they have like snakes and shit in the outback. I feel like having a camp in the outback is a little bit like having an island, but you can walk on the water essentially.
Yeah, just put them all up in like Alice Springs or whatever that town is in the north.
I don't know.
Because who's lived in the desert most of their life, I'm gonna say don't do that to people because forcing them to live in the desert's kind of fucked up.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's less humane than sticking them in an overcrowded island.
Well, I mean, the overcrowded processing stations are pretty terrible already.
Yeah, but you don't want to put them. Water.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point.
But also making the resources out there in the desert, that's not an easy thing to do.
No.
I like the desert.
Your machinery gets hot real quick.
Oh yeah, straight up.
I think
and you need to spend way more just to cool down everyone and the machinery. It's just you are going to be so inefficient and so what's the word again?
Gay.
Fuck.
Oh, it works for Phoenix and Las Vegas.
Yeah, but Phoenix and Las Vegas had years to develop. One. Second of all,
they also shouldn't exist. They shouldn't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the places that I really want to go in the world is Cuba PD in Australia. It's a whole town that's just underground. It's in like the middle of the desert. Cuba PD is like the Aboriginal term. It's one of the Aboriginal languages for white man in a hole, because it's just like this is the natives of the land that have lived there for like 10,000 years have been we don't want to live there. It's fucking horrible. It's way too hot. And it's like white people we're gonna just dig some holes and then live in the holes.
We're just gonna dig some holes,
mate.
That's
what they did. It's a whole like town that's made of like
it is a whole town.
And it is a whole.
It is a whole town, yeah. And so what somebody said in the documentary about the place is like, oh yeah, if you have a kid and you need an extension to your house, all you need is a bunch of power tools and a bit of beer for your friends, and then a weekend later you have a new room in your house. So they just dig it out of the ground while working with power tools, highly intoxicated.
I've heard of this town.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way you can do it, man.
Yeah. Make sure when you operate heavy machinery to be drunk, because if you don't, you won't be able to do it.
No.
Can you do cold welding in this game?
Cold welding?
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, this is fucking sick. Cold welding is actually the best kind of welding. If in space you take two pieces of metal, like pure this is most metals, I think.
Yeah.
And you just stick them together, they are now welded together.
Isn't that called like friction melding or welding as well?
That's
another word for it.
Yeah, it might be. I just know it as cold welding, because in like a hard vacuum, there's nothing. There's no there's no oxygen or any like nitrogen, no atmosphere composing atoms in between the two pieces of iron that would prevent the metallic elements in there from bonding to each other. And so what space travel actually has to do is apply coatings to materials that they want to not just straight up weld together for no reason. Which is super fucking cool because cold welding is like the most effective or efficient way of welding, if I remember this correctly. So that's why I'm asking if you can do cold welding in this.
No, you disassemble ships in this game.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, you're a shipwreck. You're a shipbreaker.
Yeah, but if you stick two parts together, they should like be welded together.
I mean, there's tethers.
No, you just press them on each other, and then it's done.
Yeah, that's like an actual thing that's pretty cool.
I remember the first time I played this. I played this early. When it was like in early access.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what I was doing, so they gave me a ship to break, and instead of like being smart and going through the door, I just started welding into the hull of the ship, and then I died because I got blown out because I didn't realize the ship was pressurized,
Jesus.
and I just got blown out.
Fucking A.
It was a hilarious way to die, but
yeah,
because I was just I was like, oh yeah, spaceships are pressurized. Why wouldn't it be?
I mean, to be fair, I feel like there's a reasonable expectation when you're like getting a junk ship that it might maybe not be pressurized. You know?
Yeah.
I feel like that's not the dumbest thing.
It also that contract you sign at the beginning of the game because when you start the game, you're applying for a job as a shipbreaker, and like this game is a really good way to show how horrible shipbreaking is, and why
sounds like it,
and why it's done in countries like Bangladesh and India where there's like little workplace safety laws.
Yeah, I do have a bit of a fascination with shipbreaking because it's like they're these. I mean, I like ships in general, like anything kind of like big vessel, not just ships, but ships in particular because they can. Even with trains, you have a certain. There's like a ratio. Of like height to width, which with ships is you still of course have that, but it feels like more organic to me, if that makes sense, the way that it's actually set up.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Just the thing that amazes me most about shipbreaking is that they just there's like no real facility to do it. It's like here you're like you actually have like a facility, to where you're working in, but it's like real shipbreaking is like they just go to a stretch of beach and they just they take the ship, they set the ship out far at sea, and then they just gun the engines and just have it go full speed just right up onto the beach, just crash into the beach, and then they all go out and just start ripping it apart.
Yeah.
God damn it, my fucking kids are dying like fucking... Oh, dear Lord, no. Tis an omen from the sky gods. I'm playing an empire building game, Rome Total War 2, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dead kids already. And my family has only 3...
Is this like your late Roman decadence hobby, is collecting dead kids?
No, I'm not even playing the Romans. I'm playing the Britons. No joke.
Oh, okay. Well, then it makes sense that you would be collecting dead children.
And let's see. Can I auto-resolve this? Because I do not want to be fighting sieges. Sieges in this game are fucking horrible, especially with this mod enabled.
What are you playing?
Rome Total War 2.
That's like an old-ass game.
Yeah,
right?
2013. Yeah. I'm playing with Divided and Paired mod. For anyone who plays this game, get it.
I remember one of my high school friends, he was really good in history class because he'd play Total War and would read like all the historical background materials.
The
What a
historical
shame.
backgrounds are barely anything. If you do your research after that, you build up on that research after you read the quotes, then I could understand. But if you only read the quotes, like, you're fucking lame, dude.
Hey, Burger. In the
Yeah.
time of the
Come on.
stream that's been going on, I have made a new flag.
Nice.
Is it some Nazi
Nice.
shit?
No, it's basically how in the Expanse it's the UN that's taken over all of Earth, right?
Yeah.
This is basically if it was NATO instead.
Oh boy.
Oh joy.
What do
Come
the shapes in the
on.
corner mean?
I was thinking something along the lines of like the circles being extra planets like Moon and probably Mars. Because those would be the two initial colonized planets, I guess.
I've been doing something. I want to brag for a second. I have learned to use Adobe Illustrator, and I'm not super good at it.
And
But something that I did is I kind of tried my hand at like designing a starship.
Ooh.
okay, that's all right.
Hang on. This is not the. Why
You need
is
to
there
get
not the
fixed,
current
man.
version of this anywhere? This fucking sucks, dude. Okay, I have to give me a second. I need to find this somewhere
I
else.
don't actually have any sword units, I don't think, in this army.
Oh god. Now this
Yeah,
is gonna
give
take
me a second.
forever. Because I have like a file of it
There we go.
exported, but it's for some reason I need to go into WhatsApp to find it, and WhatsApp is of course not loading because why would it? Phone not connected. No, the phone is connected. It's literally it's right here.
You're an idiot.
Why am
You're
I
a
putting
fool,
so
Burger.
much effort into this?
No,
Thou art a fool.
it's the Omnissiah.
It 100%
He's
is.
displeased.
And I know that this kind of sucks, but this is my first attempt at like making a spaceship in Illustrator.
Well, this looks like a FTL. This is like an FTL.
Yeah, it
layout.
does.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
kinda
no,
does
that's
have
cool.
that feel, yeah.
Okay, so the beds are on the left.
Oh, but
Or
here's the
like-
thing, though. Those are not. Those may look like they're 6 beds, but they're actually 18 beds because they're like triple stacked.
18,
Ooh.
you say?
Yeah, this vessel is designed to transport labor like a labor crew within a system. So you'd probably be on this thing for like a week, maybe 2 weeks at the absolute most. Probably just a few days as you make your way from one major worksite in a system to another.
Banshee class labor ferry by Hong Tao Industrial. Oh, yeah, of course. A Chinese ship.
like
Yeah,
a-
they're gonna pack them in
yeah.
like sardines.
Yeah, it looks like something that like a bunch of cowboys would
Jiangxi.
like.
Hey, talking of the Expanse, though, there was actually something I wanted to ask now that I've like completed the series and watched it and shit.
Yeah.
So, okay, in the books, do they actually like go beyond what all was covered in the series? Because the series left off on this weird fucking cliffhanger.
Yeah, that's what happens in the series ends at Babylon's Ashes, the book. And then Persepolis Rising happens like 30 years later, and it's all about the Laconia colony and what happens with them, and what happens with them, and like the rest of the galaxy.
Okay, so it doesn't just end
Really?
off with like the kid and her brother coming back. Spoilers for the Expanse, I guess.
No, not at all. That's not even something. The whole kid and the brother thing. I think even only it happens during this time, but it's only mentioned in Tiamat's Wrath, which is the novel after Persepolis Rising. I haven't seen. I haven't read Leviathan Falls yet because it hasn't arrived in the mail yet. I ordered it like 3 months ago, but it's yeah.
I need to pick up the latest book.
Oh yeah, and talking of shit, I
find it very strange that they went so far into the Laconia storyline, because it feels very much like they're setting up a new season, but they're
But that
not.
was yeah, that's like something that really pissed me off. And like, okay, this is a bit of a hot take, I'll admit, right? And I know this is gonna sound backwards, but hear me out here. I feel like this story would have been better if they never introduced the proto-molecule.
I
what now?
highly disagree because the proto-molecule is what the whole story fucking depends on.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the cool and interesting things would not have happened. And let's not, in case there's people watching who do want to see it, let's not go into too much of what that is. But like
Okay.
the mega game changing thing that happens, that all of the plot of the third book revolves around, and that has a massive impact on the plots of the other books.
I'm just saying this as someone who's only watched the show, and I more like it for a combination of the technology and like the what's the term, the political plot line, I guess. Like
Political plotline. Oh, jeez.
Look, I like geopolitics in my stories, okay?
Yeah,
I'm
and that's
weird.
a major, like, the thing, I get it. I love those aspects of it, too. It's pretty great. But
Yeah,
the
and I would argue
proto-molecule is
it's
such
still-
is part of that geopolitics plotline. Because
Yeah,
it's basically
it is,
this...
but I would argue you can get just as much out of that with the Martian stealth tech.
Yeah, but,
Martian
like,
stealth tech.
you could have done that, but honestly...
But
The proto-molecule, I do think the proto-molecule adds a lot. It adds the whole cosmic horror element.
I love the story. Don't get me wrong. The proto-molecule is cool. I just also like some of the more, I guess, hard sci-fi space
like the
future
grounded
shit.
shit. Yeah, I see what you mean. I think
Yeah, like
they could have also done a very good series if they hadn't had that. I agree
yeah,
with
like
that.
I think the most like grounded you could get with that, and I say grounded very loosely here, but maybe BattleTech. But even then, you get some weird shit like everybody
BattleTech
having
is
mechs.
cool.
Yeah.
Mechs are
'Cause, like, in
extremely unrealistic, though.
Yeah,
Mechs
they
are
are.
extremely unrealistic, but do they
The
have
ones
to
in
be?
BattleTech
Do they have to be?
they do give a little bit of an argument to the possibility, and that basically the whole argument is it's the perfect halfway point between essentially mobile firepower and superior firepower. It's basically halfway between light transport and a tank.
No, it's
like,
listen, that is all code to be able to have cool battle mechs.
It absolutely is. Though the weird thing about like the whole BattleTech thing, right? There's no aliens or anything. It's just all humans.
They're all humans.
Like the most alien thing in it are these people called the Clanners, which is basically an intergalactic military that, for the sake of peace, decided to fuck off into deep space and isolate themselves for like 2,000
Oh yeah,
years.
isn't that what's his name? Yeah, then
Alexander Kerensky.
Kerensky, yes. Oh, by the way, just for anyone who's wondering, have you all heard of Stringstorm, perchance?
I am familiar with Stringstorm, yes.
Yes. Just for anyone who doesn't understand what I'm talking about, he used to make some really solid Warhammer heavy metal music, completely fan-based. He then started to move over to, but still makes Warhammer-based music, but he moved over to BattleTech, and may I just say, it's glorious, my dude.
It is.
It's I think
All
my
right, let's get into
favorite one is.
Go
Those
ahead. Sorry,
guys are
Posh.
huge.
Yeah, no, this is just campaign representation.
Is Total War 2 set in the Age of Giants?
Yes. So my two favorite songs from him are Tukaid and Great F Legion. So far, he's also done Warrior Pope, but I'm less familiar with that, so I enjoy it less.
Oh yeah, so Burger, I recently got through all of Mass Effect 1.
Yeah.
Oh no, Mass Effect fan. Begats.
Look, I like it. It's a good thing. Like,
it really is.
As far as major things go, let's see. Got Ashley killed. I do feel guilty about that one though.
I don't like her. She's
okay.
racist.
Here's the thing, right? I actually sat down and talked with her or to the point where I actually figured out why she's a fucking racist, and I actually feel bad about writing her off as just a racist.
Ooh, fuck.
Like, don't get me wrong, she is, but I can understand where it comes from since her entire family literally got blacklisted by the military for one fuck up with her great granddad.
Yeah, that is kind of fucked up. They like this massive fucking prejudice because one guy made one mistake. They're like, "Yep, now we're just gonna ban this entire family from ever achieving anything in this war because he didn't like know exactly the right tactic to fight a technologically superior fucking alien threat, which was the first time that humanity had ever encountered aliens."
Yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah, I did save the Rachni.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you any spoilers.
Yeah, I'm playing through Mass Effect 2. I think I've gotten like maybe halfway through, and the Rachni did contact me again saying, "Hey, we're still peaceful. We haven't done fucked up shit yet."
I think my favorite game of the series is definitely Mass Effect 2.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Shit, I
and
have
unfortunately,
to finish Mass Effect 3. I've been playing the Legendary Edition. I took a break for a long time because I discovered the Battle Simulator. And now I don't...
Battle Simulator.
I fucked up and I got Conrad killed.
Oof.
I didn't even know that could happen.
Like in Mass Effect 2, right? If you basically take neither of the I guess like morality options and basically just tell him to fuck off, he'll try to chase a bunch of like kids fucking around on a bus, fall off the bus and fall into a fucking fan.
Oh my god.
Oh, jeez.
Boy.
I did not know that was possible, dude.
You don't even see it on screen. It's just a fucking news report in the background, too.
I'm really surprised we didn't see much more outrage from, like, the journalism punching in Mass Effect.
Oh, that's nasty.
You know the Viper journalist, Khaleesa bin Sina and Al-Jilani, Westerland News? I still know exactly what she says because she's such a horrible bitch. Especially in this day and age, I would have expected a bunch of game journalists to go, "Oh, this is an attack on journalism, and they should have taken this out. We should boycott this game because it encourages violence against journalists."
Yeah, I never took the violence option, but I always told her to just fuck off. I would always work with Emily Long, though.
Yeah, she's based.
God, how fucked is this game that the main army that was besieging barely gets any casualties? My reinforcing army gets all of them. Oh, don't you just love it?
Is war.
Yeah.
But the worst part,
see if they have, because like I have a Endless Space 2, right? I need to see if there's a Mass Effect mod for that because that could be pretty fucking dope.
I think there is. There either is one or it's in the works.
Let me take a look on Next and see if I can find it.
Yeah.
Should I loot this?
You know what I'm looking forward to? The new Endless Dungeon game.
By the way, have any of you played the BattleTech game?
I have not. There is a
which one?
Dungeon of the Endless.
The Mech Warriors? The Mech Warriors or the turn-based? Because I've got the turn-based, but I still haven't played it.
The turn-based one that's made by the same people who did the the Shadowrun games.
No!
The closest I played to that is... Where the hell is it on my desktop?
So there is a Mass Effect mod for Endless Space 1 that is being adapted to Endless Space 2, but there hasn't been any word yet on any updates.
Well, luckily for me, I actually have Endless Space 1 because I randomly won it from a Steam key I bought on G2A because I feel like gambling sometimes.
Yeah. But no, Endless Space 1 is pretty good. I played that for I think 50 hours or something.
It's Endless Dungeon. Okay,
Wait.
I see.
Can they reinforce?
Endless Legend's pretty good too.
No, because
Okay, thank God.
this is a thing because I was looking for it and I wasn't finding it, and then the second I found it, you posted it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this looks actually a lot better because something that really put me off. I'm not a fan of pixel graphics, except in Starbound for some reason. That kind of put me off with the first one.
Yeah, here we go. Mod DB.
Under Siege.
So you mentioned how like Ashley in Mass Effect, how her entire family got blacklisted because of one fuck up. For so long ago. That reminds me of why I fucking hate the Dune prequels that Frank Herbert's son did. Because
Dune prequels.
Yeah, there's
Wait, I thought it was only sequels though.
No, the Doom prequels. That covers the Machine War.
Oh, the Jihad.
Yeah,
The Jihad.
the Butlerian Jihad.
Yeah.
Because in the prequel, and I'm gonna spoil it, so just a warning there. But in the story, the Harkonnens are like good guys.
Yeah.
They're like
Really?
Initially they were the leaders of the military arm of the jihad, and then the Atreides come in later on, and they partner up to lead the jihad, and both families are very, very close together. They're friends and allies throughout the jihad, and then at the last battle with the last Omni on the planet of Corin, the Omni took all of the human slaves that were on the planet and threw them up into space in capsules to surround the planets as a way to try to get the invading fleet to not attack it by literally making a literal human shield. And Atreides were like, "Nah, just fucking kill them. Just fuck. We want this war to end. We want this war to end. We can just kill them off.
That is wild.
It's a worthy sacrifice." And the Harkonnen general is like, "No, these are humans. We have to save them." And at this point, the Atreides are like above, are like, they were the ones in charge of the battle, and it basically told the Harkonnens like, "No, either you fucking do this, or you're gonna be arrested for treason." And the Harkonnen is like, "Well then, fucking arrest me," and they did, and they ended up bombing the planet, killing all the humans, but they won the war, and because of that, as punishment, the Harkonnens were banished to like a faraway planets. And
Sure.
Well, it didn't fuck them up too much because they were given Dune eventually, which is like the most valuable planet.
Yeah, that was like 15,000 years later.
Yeah.
But the family just held this grudge the whole fucking time, and that's how they turned into the Harkonnens we know today. And I don't know, I just really didn't like it.
I have to be honest, that really sounds pretty cool, actually, because
it sounds cool, but I don't like it as a origin story for the Harkonnens being such pieces of shit.
I wouldn't like use it to seek to justify them being pieces of shit, because like there's just no reason to be a piece of shit. But I do like the notion of the relationships of these families changing over time.
Yeah.
And like that, there's one point in history where the person, like, it's not like, oh, this is a family of pieces of shit, because that's not how that works. It's just like, oh, at this point in time, there's a piece of shit in charge here, and at this point in time, there's a piece of shit in charge there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's interesting. It's just, it seems kind of, because like the split was because of the what to do with the human slaves that were being used as a human shield.
Yeah.
And it's like the Harkonnens wanted to protect them. But you look at the Harkonnens now, like, they have slaves, like, everywhere. Like, most of their people are slaves.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like, what, 15,000 years later? People change.
I guess.
Take again.
Gosh, there's a good way to clean up all
Al-
this
Also,
trash.
also in the prequel, they include a race called the Cymex,
Mhm.
The what?
and they're called the Cymex, and what they are is in the old Empire, the Cymex are literally like the anime watching fucking Nazi tradcat kind of people you see on 4chan. They're just a bunch like in the old Empire, they were just a bunch of fucking nerds who were like, oh, society's so stagnant and degenerate and just nobody there's no sense of adventure anymore. And they like would just preach about how they would go around to like on the internet that they had, and they just like advocate for like making the empire great again, kind of shit. And
I do love the whole sense of adventure thing because I'd like some sense of adventure, but I don't mean the same thing that they mean when I say that.
yeah, and they even took on like names of ancient heroes. It's like there's like one new, like the leader of them is called changed his name to Agamemnon.
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
like a
come on.
there's like a
They had a
Hecate.
Sargon. They had like a literal Sargon of Akkad in this
Yes,
book.
yes. And like they had like one dude called himself Xerxes, another
Please
dude
tell
called
me.
another dude called himself Barbarossa. It's just they were just total like
Please
they
tell
were
me the guy that called himself Sargon considered himself a warrior poet or some shit.
he
Oh, good
actually
lord.
did consider he was like a poet. He
Oh my
wasn't a
goodness.
warrior poet. He was just a poet. And
Oh
like
my god, he was even an intellectual. That's great.
yeah, he was the one who like he was the initial like Agamemnon became the leader, but the Sargon was like he was the guy who started. He was the one who started talking about it, and like Agamemnon and the other 20 were the ones who first joined him. Oh yeah, there's also a dude named who called himself Ajax. His whole thing in the prequel is fucking hilarious because um because what happened was Sargon was killed. He was killed in a terrorist attack, and because of that, the other 20 were like, "Oh fuck, oh yeah, we could totally fucking die." So they used the Empire had like technology to basically make people immortal. It was like a whole like chemical process. They're not made invincible, but they are made immortal. So they all use this technology to become immortal, and then they remove their brains from their bodies and put them in giant robots. And Barbarossa, and they decided that because they were so worried about being killed off, they were like, we need to do our overthrow now. So what Barbarossa was like the hacker. He was the hacker man, and he went and he went and programmed a virus to take control of all the Empire's AI and make them aggressive and want to conquer, but
Hmm.
also only serve the Cymex. So that's how they took over
Weird.
the empire. That's how they took over the empire. Was they hijacked all the AIs and yeah, they took over the empire,
It's
and they're
like a
like,
script kiddie
we're
basically did this.
basically. But but the first funny
Jesus.
funny thing is like the dude named Xerxes. Uh, so what happens after they took over the empire? They broke it up into like their own little like fiefdoms. So Xerxes, he had his own fiefdom, and he was like, what would I call him? I'd say he's kind of like no bullshit. The
Oh
YouTuber no
god.
bullshit.
Oh
Oh my
He's
god.
just
goodness.
he's just like really dumb and lazy. Like the only reason the other Cymex uh tolerated him was because his family was really, really rich. So that's how they got a lot of their funding was through him. So because he was so dumb and lazy, he let the AIs in his fiefdom gain more and more and more control, like running the governments, running business, doing everything, that they just took over him, and then spread out, and then those AI spread out to take over the entire empire from the Cymex.
I love
Dear
that
Lord.
some guy, so like this Frank Herbert's son managed to predict like literally all of internet culture wars.
Yeah, it was
Pretty
kind of
great,
like
yeah.
that.
Fucking
But
thing.
I wanted to mention Ajax really quick because because Ajax was a dude who was really cruel and violent. He basically enslaved the people in his fiefdom
Yeah.
and just treated them like.
How about Ajax me off?
I mean, if I were to compare him to like a modern like anti-SJW, I guess he'd be like. I can't think of any that like advocate. I can't think of any offhand that like advocate for like violence right off the top. But he was one of
Fucking
those.
what's his name? What's Gavin McInnes?
Okay, yeah, like Gavin McInnes. He's like a Gavin McInnes type, and his girlfriend was also Siamek, and her name was Hikari. And Hikari was like, when he took over, she was like, "Wow, you're a real piece of shit." So she just left. She like left the empire. She built a massive starship and just took off and just left.
No
Left
bitches.
him. And that made him even worse. And
He became an
Um,
incel, dude.
Oh my god.
and funny thing is, much later, um, when the free humans are fighting the Omni AI, and because the Cymex now, the Omni AI can't kill them, but they're not in power anymore. So the Omni AI just sort of uses them as like attack dogs and like as generals. And much later on, Hikari comes back to the free humans. Like she comes back in her massive starship and intercepts one of the human characters. I can't remember their name, and she's talking to them, and she's coming back because she had a change of heart, and she wants to make rights and to overthrow the Omni AI with the free humans and stuff. And she talks, and Ajax is like legendary for just how cruel and evil he is and how brutal he is. And Hikari comes back, and she's in like her massive like robot form, and she's like talking to the human characters. She's like, "Yeah, Ajax was my boyfriend. I used to really love him. He used to not always be like this. Do you want to see what he looked like when he was a human?" And shows them a picture of him in the way to describe him. He was like just this skinny, fucking weak looking.
Who's the fucking
He's an incel.
boy, dude?
He was
He's
just
an
like
incel.
yeah, and it was just so fucking funny that he had such a grudge that the second he got that power, he just went fucking nuts.
Imagine being named after a mythological hero. That is some of the gayest shit.
Dude, that would be great. I would love to be renamed.
Yeah,
And isn't that just
people
Jesus?
shouldn't be named after mythological heroes. That shit is gay.
Like,
Yeah,
Cringe.
every Mexican named Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I got the
Jesus.
list. I got the list of the known Cymex. There's Agamemnon, Ajax, Alexander, Barbarossa, Dante, Hecate.
Dante's a great name. I fuck with that.
Dante
How
the
is he
Demon
like
Slayer.
a
Come
great
on.
historical hero? He's just a fucking writer.
Yeah, he's just a
Not
writer.
only
I
that, he
don't.
was a writer who just wrote fan fiction about the Bible.
Let's see, Hecate, Juno, Xerxes, and Tlaloc. Oh, and Beowulf.
What? Tlaloc was a fucking rain god in the Aztec world.
Oh fuck.
What the fuck? But yeah, I don't know. Especially if it's like heroes who have magical powers. Those people are especially gay who have those kinds
Those
of
be
names.
big
Yeah,
gay.
I'm reading off the Wikipedia page. Despite once being human themselves, Cymex consider themselves superior to and natural overlords of humans, who they considered weak in both body and mind. Consequently, Cymex refer to humans in a derogatory manner by using the term originally coined that they coined, and they called the humans Rethker.
Oh, so they're like Sabbat vampires, basically.
Omnius and his servants later adopted this term. Their ability. Oh yeah, and then it shows their abilities that they're essentially like brains in a jar, and they can transfer themselves into different bodies and starships and shit like that.
So it's basically a full boards with a superiority complex.
Yeah. No,
Or
yeah, these are just internet trolls with these are just like pole tards with a superiority complex.
in New Vegas in the Big MT,
Yeah. Oh
there's
yeah,
the
the
scientist priest.
scientists. Yeah, the
Yeah,
scientists.
that's what that makes me think of.
I have to say though, right, looking at this game, I still like the aesthetics of having that kind of a house. Like this sci-fi kind of dystopian house. That, but you make it a little bit more nice with more plants and shit. I still want that.
Yeah, yeah, I dig it too.
I dig it.
Who left all this garbage in your workplace overnight?
The training.
Jesus.
I posted a picture of a Cymec next to an Omnius AI called Erasmus. The Omnius AI is the one that looks like a human.
Yeah, that looks like 80s sci-fi.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, you know what would be like a cool, quirky thing to add to this game? If
What?
like the trash that was
These
left
nuts.
over was like generated from other players, so it's like
That'd
shit
be
that they leave
interesting.
around. It populates your world.
That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be
just-
okay, I guess.
You can
I
like
just-
justifiably be mad at people for littering.
Yeah, I just wished that there was a better way to clean up trash in this game.
Hmm.
What do the colors mean, by the way?
Colors?
There's a green, there's like a blue and an orange.
There's colors in this game?
For the
Wow, I
game.
didn't even notice.
Look, there's
Are
a
we
blue one
talking
to-
about? Are we talking about Shitbreaker?
Yeah. Look to your right. Yeah. There's a red fiery looking thing, a blue.
Okay,
that.
so
Yeah, like
yeah,
that
that's
one and the green one.
Yeah, so those are like different things where you deposit your garbage. So like you'll have
Another
panels
child
that go
died.
in there. It's like alloys. No,
Burger,
like-
do you want to know
like
something?
aluminum. Just
So-
like random bits and bobs. Sorry.
Burger.
Yeah.
Hang on.
I-
So
yeah.
I just got a child. I just got a child is born event. So I got a new addition to my family. Literally the same turn, a child is dead. Do you ever guess which one?
I suppose the only one that was alive.
The same one who was born this turn.
Yeah, it's the medieval era, fam. That's how it be.
It's not even medieval. It's ancient Rome.
That's the ancient Roman era. That's just how it be.
Holy
What is
shit.
the green thing though? Like, what is the okay? What do the three colors mean? I really need to know now.
These ones?
So
Or
Or
yeah,
you're talking about
let me,
Shipbreaker.
yeah, let me start over again. So the green thing is the barge. You know what? Yeah, so the green thing is the barge. That basically is things where like reactors, thrusters, chairs, storage containers, all sorts of like random junk that's like attached to like the hulls and the ship. That's where all that goes. The blue one, like most of that is like stuff is like the main like outer shell of the that's where all the stuff goes is the outer shell. The blue, yes, let me start over. So yeah, the blue port chute, whatever, is where the outer shell of like a lot of ships go. So like the armor and stuff. That's where all that goes, and then that right there is the furnace, which takes things like the skeleton of the ship and whatnot, and like trash.
This is such a like working class moment where you're just an
Working
expert in
class.
doing this thing, but you have never thought about it. Like never had the need to explain this to anyone. It's like the blue when you it's the outer bits they go there.
That's like me like trying to explain how I back up my truck into a dock or parking space. It's like I don't know. I can do it
Go
totally
backwards.
fine, like an expert, but I cannot explain to you how I do it.
Yeah.
That is
Great job,
fucking
Mama.
cool.
It's like I put the truck in reverse and I swing the steering wheel left and right, and it just goes in the hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. I look in the mirrors and make sure I don't hit anybody.
It can be difficult to like explain to people what you do, but this was really a gold moment that I really appreciated.
Well, I'm also autistic too, so that didn't help.
Oh, so I'm on the Dune wiki, and I looked up Ajax because I wanted to remember how he died. The way he died, it was just so fucking cool. Because it was during a slave rebellion on Earth,
Yeah.
led by a human called Iblis Ginjo. And what happened was Ajax was just because there was human slaves protesting in a pavilion, and he just went out and was just like using massive flamethrowers just to fucking just burn and kill all of them. And a slave took an explosive and detonated a wall that Ajax was next to, causing the wall to fall on top of him. And then humans making him he was stuck underneath the wall, and so humans climbed up onto his body and ripped the control wires from his brain canister, leaving him basically paralyzed.
Damn.
And Ginjo ordered the slaves to peel the armor casing away from his brain canister. His brain canister was torn out, and the slaves just bashed the canister with cudgels until it broke open, and they just smashed his brain into a pulp.
Ouch.
There's a thing in Hyperion where basically their punishment for like the worst crimes is genuinely the worst punishment for anything I've ever seen. Because what they do is they will like remove your brain, and then they will put that brain in a vat, and they have technology to make your brain live a very, very, very long time. But it's literally just your brain. You have absolutely no sensory input whatsoever for the rest of like your existence, which can be like over a century at that point.
Jesus.
That sounds horrible.
Isn't that the
Brutal.
Cyberpunk 2077 thing?
I haven't played.
Oh yeah,
Cyberpunk.
yeah. One of the endings is something like that.
I haven't played Cyberpunk.
Don't spoil it.
No, but I mean, like, the whole reason Johnny exists is because they did that with his brain.
Oh yeah. But
'cause
don't spoil it.
I won't
for
spoil
it.
anything.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, yeah,
God, how difficult is it to
they have the
find
same
them?
thing, but with computers instead of
Oh.
like mysterious magic chemicals.
Actually, that punishment
Magic chemicals.
Yeah, that's
that-
actually a thing in Star Wars too. I just realized.
there's a
course it is.
there's a manga I read a couple years back by a dude named Hiroya Oku. It's called Inu Yashiki, and it's a really good manga. It's about this it's about this Japanese businessman who is just like the biggest fucking loser. I mean, and I say that like with all the sympathy. He's like the nicest guy you could ever meet, but everybody treats him like shit. His family treats him like shit. His coworkers treat him like shit. He's only like 40 years old, but he looks like he's in his 60s just because he's so
I know what you're
overworked.
talking about.
Yeah, yeah, and then he finds out that he has like cancer and he's like terminal, and he's just like so downtrodden and just so sad. Also, he before that he got a dog because it's like he just
Oh yeah, I know.
he wanted somebody to that could love him unconditionally, and the dog did that. And I think the dog ended up being beaten by a bunch of kids, almost to death. And then he finds out he has cancer and he's gonna die. So he like walks out to this park in the rain and is just like sitting there just so dejected and sad. And then a spaceship crashes into him. And the aliens on the spaceship are like, what the we're like literally like teens out like drunk driving. That's literally what it was.
Yeah.
And they're and the one alien is like, oh dude, we fucked up so bad. We gotta get out of here. He's like, no, we can't. We gotta fix this. Like we killed some things. And like they go and they like because they killed him and another person. And so
Like
they
a
ended
high
up
schooler or something.
like a high schooler. So they're like, okay, we gotta fix them, and they fixed them, both of them, but basically give them superpowers. You get
They're
basically gives them,
basically synths.
yeah, they become synths. They like his cancer is just gone. He still looks like he's 60 years old, but he's like he has like excellent health. He's super strong. He can jump real high. He's basically a superhero now.
Damn.
And he sees it as like he sees this as like a miracle, and that because of that he needs to do good, and so he becomes like an actual superhero.
Yeah, dude.
He needs to drink lots of water too.
Yeah, because he can overheat. I think that's the thing is he can overheat.
No, I think he runs on water or like hydrogen or something.
Isn't it like his internals like a nuclear reactor or some
yeah,
shit?
Yeah, it's something like that.
Something like that.
But you mentioning that punishment reminded me of he got into a run-in with a Yakuza family, and he's like he breaks into like a meeting they're having. I forgot the details of the story. I need to go back and reread it. But as a form of punishment, what he does to them, because they expect he's gonna like kill them all. He's like, no, I don't kill people, but I need to punish. You've done so many horrible things that I need to punish you. So like his fingers split off into these like little wires, and they shoot out, and they puncture the back of the necks of all the people in the meeting, and they all just go limp and just start screaming. And what he did was he removed he made them blind, he made them deaf, he made them lose all their senses, all control of their muscles. All they can do is just talk and scream. They're trapped in their own bodies.
Fucked up.
Yeah, that is nightmare fuel.
Yeah, I read that, and I like because I was like marathon reading it. I was just like so into this story, and then he did that. And I'm just like, I just like needed to take a break from it. I was just like,
I am
Jesus,
a superhero who is a nice guy. I don't kill people.
No, instead you just tortured them.
Also, I forgot. Didn't the dog get superpowers as well, or because I think the dog was killed in the crash?
don't
There-
remember. It's been
that's-
so long since I've seen it.
Yeah, I need to check.
I remember there was a German sci-fi novel. Still one of the... There's a German sci-fi writer that I really like called Andreas Eschbach. And he did one of my... Well, not necessarily my favorite novel, but certainly one of the most interesting, called Kelwitz Star. And so the idea is basically there's like an alien culture who, when they're born, they get assigned like a star. And this is something they've done for like 1,000 generations traditionally. And then eventually they became space travelers, and now they can go out to the star. And it's like a going to your star is not a lot of people don't even do it, but it's like a bit of a rite of passage. And then exploring the star system around it is a bit like your like astrology. They have this whole huge book on what it means if you have like a fucking gas giant that is whatever fucking color in this section. And then, but the guy in the book is he goes to Earth. Like this, it's our sun is his star, and he just shows up. And it's like, and then there's a planet where there's life. And it's like, oh shit, I didn't even read that part of the book because I didn't think this would happen. And so he lands on Earth in just some small town in Germany. And he sees like humans for the first time, and they have a dog. And like the dog, because the dog is like barking at him, so trying to communicate with him, he assumes that this is like the highest form of the organism. Like, that the humans and the dog are, like, the same kind of organism, and that the dog is basically the leader of the humans. Because the humans are just sort of standing there, not understanding what the fuck is going on. And there is, like, a lot of the book is about how, like, the teenage daughter of that family wants to fuck him.
Of course.
Oh boy.
This is a very German story, isn't it?
Yeah, I think she's, like, not underage, though, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure she's, like, 18.
She's only like a 500-year lowly looking
And
dragon.
he doesn't like they don't have sex in his culture, so yeah, that's like a
Anyway,
so
she's still only a 500-year-old alien.
But
That
there's
looks
a
like
lot
a
of
woman.
there's like a lot of shit that it's just, oh yeah, these is like so many things that we take for granted that this guy just completely misunderstands, like mistaking dogs for the dominant species.
Would
I was
I
trying to
wonder
remember
how he would have reacted to cats?
I was trying to
I think
remember.
he does meet cats at some point, but I don't remember how he reacts to them. Yeah, but there's like there's like a lot of like the girl is going like, oh well, but fucking, she sets up like a swimming pool for him, because he needs like water. And they get him an above ground pool so he doesn't dry out. And then she's like, yeah, but what if because he's pretty young, like, what if because here on Earth sometimes they don't tell people about sex. And it's like, maybe they didn't tell you how you do sex and how that feels good. It's very obsessed with that. But that is just because it's a very German book. Like,
Honestly, it sounds
You
amazing.
guys don't have sex, is that it?
let me find the book.
Hey, shit.
Oh, Das Jesus Video, if somebody posted this in chat, yeah, Das Jesus Video is another book by Andreas Eschbach, which is actually really good. So basically, it's called the Jesus Video, right? And the premise is that there's like an archaeological dig in Israel, and they find this video camera that isn't even out yet. Like it's set in like 1999, and they find I think like a Samsung video camera from 2001, and on that video camera is a video of Jesus, because like somebody through some accident traveled back in time to meet Jesus. Like not to do it, but like they traveled back in time. They're like, oh well, I know what time this is. I know where I am. I know that very soon Jesus is gonna come by. I might as well use the last battery I have for the camera to do that. And there's like this whole wait, no, they don't find the camera, they find the tapes. That's what happens.
Guess who's here, motherfucker?
No, they don't find. Nah, fuck. They don't find the. They find the instruction manual.
God
That's
damn
what
it,
they
Cody.
find. And then later they go to this monastery, where there's these like priests that say, "Oh, we have the. Oh, look, it's Cody. Who's this? Oh, Discord just crashed because I clicked on something. Okay, that's cool.
Same camera.
Yep,
Oh,
Discord
Yeah,
just-
I brought them over here specifically. Like I paid for their flights out here just so we could defraud Burger King and having 3 people on the same fast food Thursday.
Discord just crashed, so I don't know what is going on. But basically, this is all you and yeah.
No.
This is like fraud. You have to increase your patronage now.
I'll Venmo you some shit. All right.
Yeah, for fuck's sake.
And so basically, they find this like order of monks in Israel, where they have this monastery where they're like completely isolated, and the main character goes there, and they're all like dejected, except for this one guy who is incredibly happy. It's like, why does he enjoy being here and the other of you don't? And they're like, well, we can't talk to anyone on the outside. You just showed up here, that's why we're talking to you. But after that, like, you're gonna leave and no one's gonna believe you of what you see here anyway. But he is the guy who saw Jesus. He looked in the magic mirror that we have that like shows this thing that happened where Jesus talked to people. And straight up, it is like this Samsung video camera that survived like 2,000 years that they have it in the basement, and because every like couple of decades, because of some fucking battery bullshit that I don't understand, it's recharged enough that you can like watch 5 minutes of that video.
Interesting. Are you doing coke? Cody, are you doing coke?
No, they're smoking weed.
Ah, damn it. Can't you have
Smoking a
invited
cigar.
me?
That's very nice.
Fucking almost smokes a cigar like he's sucking a cock.
Oh, that's a cigar.
I have more practice with that than
Hell yeah! Is that an illegal Cuban cigar?
Yeah. So today's 3 for the price of 1.
Do we need
for
to
my
call
thing.
the ATF?
They're gonna call the ATF. I don't give a fuck.
Call the ADF, bitch. See what you're gonna do.
Stockpiling
Bitch.
tannerite. See what they'll do about it.
It's like, bitch, what you gonna do?
Do you have a dog?
Like Fed boy.
Hey,
Like
those
as many
guns don't hell,
dogs,
they don't
boy. I don't know why, but when you said that, I imagined Ralph from Ed, Ed and Eddie.
That's the
Like,
joke.
like
That's
as
the
many
joke, yeah.
dogs, said
Yeah, that's the
boy.
meme that was always used as the Fed boy.
That was a good show, though. Like, seriously good.
It was such a good show, yeah.
Classic.
Fucking A.
I really need to get NVGs.
I really miss those like streams that they would do where they're just plain old cartoons.
I think this is probably safe.
Yeah, where they just like literally like did not give
This
up.
is not safe.
No, they finally got taken down.
So sad.
Wonder. Good. Ah, damn it. I've not min-maxed my building economy.
Damn, I
I'm a
really have
fucking
read
idiot.
a lot of books by this guy.
And you kind of have to.
Yeah, 1 second.
That is fucking wild.
That is wild, my dude.
Ooh,
Like,
look at you,
dude.
a reader.
Totally.
No, but I
bro.
usually like I don't. There's some authors that I like, but I don't read too much of the same author unless it's like a series. I usually get like interested in something else eventually. But I guess because like I used to read all these as a kid, he has a really cool series of like middle grade books that is still one of my absolute favorite sci-fi series of all time. Where it's basically there's a Mars colony. It's pretty small, but there's like 6 or 7 teenagers living on it, and it's like about their adventures and mischief as they have like their secret base in the like the original Mars base where nobody quite knows where it is anymore because the new Mars base is built over it. That's like where they have their hangout spot, and they're friends with the station AI. It's very cool.
Sounds like
Hey,
fun.
Burger, talking of books, right? Are you familiar with an author named Christopher Moore?
I have heard of him.
Dude, I'm a big
Moore.
fan of his books. He is funny as shit. Like, the first book by him I got introduced to was a book called Fool. And it's basically just a satire of King Lear told from the perspective of his jester.
Huh.
Shakespeare
But
for
if you want
squirrels.
something that's like a little more modern, I'd recommend trying out a book by him called A Dirty Job, which is literally just a book about this antique salesman who accidentally becomes a Grim Reaper.
You are a hypochondriac and you have to raise your baby daughter on your own. And now you've been given the job of death. Someone has to do it.
Pretty much.
Jesus. He sounds like a interesting author at the very least.
He is. He's funny as shit. It also intersects with like a weird trilogy of stories that he did about vampires called Blood-Sucking Fiends, which that one was pretty funny.
Damn.
There was also The Stupidest Angel, which is an angel that accidentally causes a zombie apocalypse on Christmas to fulfill a child's wishes.
I mean, as
Let
you
me
do.
guess, Raise the Dead.
I'm currently book that I'm currently that I've kind of taken a break from reading to read the Stars Without Number rulebook and a nonfiction thing, which I found that I like doing nonfiction with like there's these like speed reading apps on the computer that will show you like one word at a time and go like through them very quickly, so you can easily do like a lot of pages in a very short period of time.
Well,
But the book that I was reading is like The Three Body Problem, this Chinese sci-fi novel, and it was like super hyped to me. Maybe it's because it was this hype, but I just was not enjoying it that much. Is most of the book is just the guy playing a video game. Like that's most of the book.
Yeah, Quinn on YouTube, he really hyped it up as just like this like a Lovecraftian like horror of
It kind of is, yeah.
and it kind of is, but I also think because I'm listening to the audiobook for Three Body Problem, and it is kind of a hard listen, and I think it's just because it's a Chinese sci-fi written by a Chinese author, and I think it's just I kind of feel it doesn't read like other sci-fi books.
There's some of it. Actually, does it have the footnotes? Because in the book version, not the audiobook, it has footnotes to explain some of the cultural context every once in a while.
Actually, no, it doesn't. I should probably switch to the.
They're not super frequent, but there's like, especially when it gets into historical figures of Chinese history that like just Western readers wouldn't know about. It like, oh, this is the philosopher from the this and that period, and so on. So, but yeah, the something that really bothered me about the book is that it had, and I asked a Chinese friend about this. Because there's all these, you know how he like shows up to the house of this scientist? It's like, you know how we have never talked before, but I once looked at your girlfriend who killed herself 2 days ago. Can we talk? Just hang out a bit and like play pool for several hours. And then
that's
I will,
really weird.
Yeah, and then I will go to the house of the mum of your dead girlfriend to talk to her and become friends with her for no fucking reason.
Well, I think, isn't it like, no, because the mom was like his professor when he was in university, wasn't she?
The mother is an important character in like the prologue. Was the
thing.
Oh,
right.
She just knows a lot about the plot. That's like, and I was like, is this like something? Is this just me not understanding the finer points of Chinese culture? She was like, no, he's just a sci-fi writer. He doesn't know how to do social, like write social
Oh,
interactions.
so he's like Harry Turtledove writing about sex.
Oh my god, this is one I want to read the Harry Turtledove novels, but this is the kind of shit that I'm afraid of. I feel like this is I like a lot of sci-fi, but I have even with The Expanse, I have huge difficulty with some of the relationships that happen there and some of the relationship writing.
I mean, the way Harry Turtledove writes sex, it is very awkward, and he makes the women like obsess over how big the dude that's fucking them, how big their arms are. It's just so it's just so weird, and it's like
Something some women are into, but is Harry Turtledove like ripped? Does he have big arms? Because that would really
no,
explain
he's
it.
like he's a skinny old man.
Maybe he's just projecting.
I mean, hey, maybe this is just experience he had with his wife while he was younger. We don't know.
I do like hang on, let me look up the series because there's a Southern Victory series which is pretty good, but he also wrote like a legit sci-fi series.
Yeah, he's
Where
done a lot.
yeah, where these lizard aliens try to invade Earth in the middle of World War II, and the aliens are just so
You
unprepared.
told me about this.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Did I tell you about uh how Ginger makes the lizards really, really horny?
What?
You did not.
Okay, let me explain this. Let me explain this because it's fucking funny. So the invasion fleet is all male lizards.
Yeah.
You know, it's their army. And to the males, what Ginger does, it's like PCP. To the males. It makes them think. It makes them think. It makes them feel like they're invincible, that they could do anything, and they like when they're fighting battles against like the Americans or the Soviets, they'll just like take a shitload of ginger and just go out and get themselves killed, basically. So it's like the military government has to ban ginger from the battlefield, but like in places where they occupy, like in China, it's like the local Chinese are just like, sure, here's ginger. Yeah, it's yeah, you can have it for the low price of like 500 credits, even though it's only worth like a couple cents.
That's
Because they don't know.
lit.
Yeah,
That
so
is
and then
very cool.
and then a couple decades later, the settlement fleet comes in. You know, and these guys are, you know, they're male and female lizards, and they're coming in. You know, they're like bureaucrats and construction workers, and just all the rest of like lizard society. Um, and they left a couple decades after the military fleet, so they were coming in and expecting a fully conquered planets, but they come in and like half the planet is still under human control, and all the humans have nukes, and they're not afraid to use them. Um, so so basically, the lizards, they have control of like South America, of Africa, and Australia, along with parts of China, and they also control Poland because when Germany and Russia got nukes, or Germany and the Soviet Union got nukes, they started using nukes against each other. So the lizards came in and took over Poland as a buffer state to keep Germany and the Soviet Union from killing each other. And but anyway, so what starts happening is what the lizards quickly find out is that while it's like PCP to the males, if you give it to a female lizard, she immediately goes into heat.
Of course.
As you do.
So there's this one main character who's the leader of the Jews in Poland, because when the lizards came in, the Jews, the final solution hadn't happened yet, but there was the ghettos and the concentration camps. So when the lizards came in, they they really kind of just like saved the Jews
Yeah.
from. So the Jews in Poland are very friendly to the lizards because they came in and saved them, and so one of the lead.
That makes a lot of sense in terms of like the how that would happen, but the like it does sound kind of oof.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Like kind of like
It,
savior complex.
it is a bit of an oof. When the lizards initially came in, they found out what the Germans were doing to the Jews, and they tried to turn all the other. They tried to turn like the Soviets and the Japanese and the British and the Americans from fighting them to knocking out Germany by releasing all this footage of what the Germans were doing, and all the other powers are like, yeah, that's really shitty of Germany, but we're still gonna just keep fighting. They're still the best army to fight against you, so we're
You're
gonna
like
stick with them.
aliens, dude.
Yeah, yeah, they're Nazis, but you're aliens.
I mean, to be fair, that would be how we acted back in the day. It's like, well, we're all human, even if you're subhuman.
Yeah,
these are aliens.
So like the lizards are just having the hell of a time trying to keep Earth under control, and like the alien governor of Poland goes to the leader of the Jews in Warsaw, and he just like pulls them into his office, and the lizard's like, okay, look, we've been having this problem that we never had before. Apparently what's been happening is some of our soldiers and some of our other male workers, they've been slipping ginger into the food of female lizards, and then going and without their knowledge, and then going and having sex with them. Do you have anything like this in human society? And
rape,
the guy's like, yeah, that's rape. And he's like, is this a normal thing for humans? And he's like, it does happen. It does happen quite a bit. And we punish it severely. And so basically the guy has to explain sexual assaults and rape and how it's punished to this lizard governor, because the lizard governor does not know how to deal with this, and he's like, and the guy's like, criminalize it, because it was such a dumb conversation, because it was just like, no, they're doing something against that other lizard's will. You punish him for it.
Yeah. Anyway, this is pretty much the stream. End the stream. See you around, folks.
See you around.
See you around, cunts.
Very, very